Good evening, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so pleased that you have found us here in the back room. Happy New Year to you all, and we are so delighted to see you. Make sure your screens are in gallery view so you can see all of us quickly. I'm Hank Philippi Ryan, your host for this session. I'm the USA Today bestselling author of 16 going on 17 novels of suspense. My current novel is All This Could Be Yours, about an author on book tour who realizes she has a stalker. I'm also the investigative reporter for Boston's Channel 7 and have won 37 Emmys for my investigative and true crime reporting. My next book comes out September the 1st. Look, look, look. It's called Mother, Daughter, Sister, Stranger. It's so new it doesn't even have a cover yet, but we are working on that now. You'll be hearing about that. You'll totally be hearing about that. You can rely on that. My wonderful partner in crime and co-host and co-founder is Karen Dion. She is the USA Today and internationally #1 best-selling author of 2 psychological thrillers set in Michigan's Upper Peninsula wilderness, The Marsh King's Daughter and The Wicked Sister, published in the US and in 28 other languages. The New York Times called The Marsh King's Daughter brilliant, and it was released by Lionsgate in 2023 as a major motion picture starring Daisy Ridley and Ben Mendelsohn. You've all seen it now, haven't you? On an airplane or screaming or in the theater. That is great. Streaming, not screaming, although it is kind of suspenseful, very suspenseful. Karen enjoys nature photography and lives with her husband on a small lake surrounded by a forest in the middle of Michigan, where she holds the Muskrat Lodge Writers Retreat. Do check her website for more on that, but not right now, because right now we're going to start the show. Amazing to say we are in our 6th year of the back room now, and we are so grateful to you all. We have introduced you to hundreds of authors and hundreds of new books, and we are still going strong with a lot of exciting news in the works. Cannot wait to tell you about all that. So if you are new to the back room, welcome, welcome, welcome. And here is the plan for what we're doing. First, we'll play a quick game of 20 questions where we'll ask the author some questions. And so you'll get to know them a little bit. Easy, fun questions. You'll get to know them and get to figure out some things that you can ask them in the breakout rooms. We'll then, of course, have our book recommendations. Each author will tell us a book that they'd love for you to read, because, of course, Karen's and my goal is to have your TBR piles go up and up and up. That's why it's called The Back Room. See, TBR. That was clever, right? Very, very clever. And then we will go into our breakout rooms where you will have 15 minutes with each author, where you'll be able to ask them any questions that you want, and you'll be able to talk with them up close and Zoom personal. That is why we are here. Each author will get 15 minutes, and you know about this. There'll be a 1-minute warning and then 1 more minute, and then we'll go to the second author. Once it runs out, the new author will be in the spotlight. After your first 2 authors, you'll move into a new room where you'll have the second 2 authors. Each room will have a moderator. I'll be a moderator, and Karen will be a moderator, but we are not there to interview these authors. You are here to interview the authors. That is what this is all about. And technically, you do not have to do a thing. You don't have to click or type or do anything. Magic Tom and the fabulous Jessica behind the scenes will do their magic, and you will meet each author 2 by 2 and 1 by 1. And let me introduce them to you now. Christina Kovac. Hi, Christina. Welcome, welcome. Worked for 17 years managing Washington, D.C. newsrooms and producing crime and political stories in the district. Her career as a television journalist began with Fox 5's 10 o'clock news, and after that, the ABC affiliate in Washington, and then at NBC News. She lives with her family outside of Washington, D.C. Her new thriller, Watch Us Fall, hold that up, Christina, Watch Us Fall, was published on December 2nd. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks.
And you have a beautiful background. That looks nice. We're all very booked.
My husband worked hard on it.
We'll tell him he did a good job. Good job. Our second guest, also a beautiful background, Deborah Goodrich Royce, began as an actress on All My Children, where you have certainly seen her as Erica Kane's sister. I'll just let that sink in for a moment. And also in multiple films and TV shows before transitioning to the role of story editor at Miramax Films, developing Emma and early versions of Chicago and A Wrinkle in Time. She lives in Rhode Island with her husband, and they have restored the Avon Theater, Ocean House Hotel, Deer Mountain Inn, and numerous Main Street revitalization projects. Her latest identity thriller is Best Boy, which will be published in February of this year. Oh, look at that gorgeous book. Welcome, Deborah.
Hello, hi, thank you. It's got a little sheen. There it is.
That's lovely. I love a nice glossy book. That's great. Congratulations on that. Dr. Ian Smith is the author of 28 books, including the #1 New York Times bestselling book, Shred the Revolutionary Diet, with millions of copies in print. He was the host of the Emmy Award-winning syndicated show, The Doctors, and a longtime medical contributor to The Rachel Ray Show. He's also a contributor to NBC's Today Show, and you can see him again soon, and has appeared on numerous national broadcasts. He also served 2 terms on President Obama's President's Council on Fitness, Health, and Nutrition. He graduated from Harvard College and Columbia University and earned his medical degree from the University of Chicago. His newest thriller, Beyond Midnight, hold that up, Ian. Okay, good one. His newest thriller, Beyond Midnight, an Ash Kane novel, was released in August. And so great to have you here this evening.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
This is such a good lineup. And finally, Sherry Thomas, a USA Today bestselling author who decided years ago that her goal in life is to write every kind of book she enjoys reading. Thus far, she has published romance, fantasy, mystery, young adult, and 3 books inspired by the martial arts epics she grew up devouring. Her latest releases are The Librarians. Hold that beautiful thing up. That is such a great cover, Sherry. A
Thank you.
contemporary mystery set in a neighborhood branch library, and the novella Prima, set 800 years in the future. Sherry emigrated from China at age 13, and English is her second language. She lives in Austin, Texas. Welcome, Sherry.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be here.
I love that we're all from all over the country. It is really lovely that this can happen. And I hope you'll see all the applause in the chat. People are welcoming you with open arms. So let's start with our 20 questions. And I'm just going to do it in the order that I see you on the screen. So Christina, that means you are first. Let me ask you, did you make any New Year's resolutions, and what were they?
I resolved not to make any resolutions. That was my resolution. I was so overwhelmed this year. My husband and I, we just went to the beach and we were like, you know what? We're just gonna let this thing happen.
I think that is very wise. And you can't go wrong with that. Did any of you, the rest of you, make resolutions or decide not to do it?
Not a one. Not a one.
Right? No time to make resolutions, right?
I'm getting abs. I'm getting abs this year. But then again, I made the same resolution 25 years ago and it still hasn't happened yet. So
Abs?
Abs.
I'm getting abs this year.
We're with you. We're with you. Ian, what about you?
I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I believe in year-long commitments. And I have made a commitment. I have my 35th year college reunion in Boston this summer, in June, and I'm going to go back in better shape than I was as an undergrad.
Oh, that's great. That's really good.
What kind of undergrad were you?
We should have a whole show on class reunions. Those are really something. Okay, let me go on with the questions. Deborah, it's just these are such random questions.
All
And
right.
it's so weird that we have this one here. But what do people not know about starring on a soap opera?
Oh, wow, that's
Can
a
you imagine that
fine
we have this?
question. So I played a dark, evil, crazy character. It was my very first job, big acting job. And they probably don't know when you're on a soap opera, people think you are that character. So I later went on to do nighttime television and movies, and there's a much greater distance. They understand you're this actor playing this role. But playing someone who's a little cray-cray on a soap opera, people really think it's you. So I got very peculiar letters and personal experiences as I traveled around the country.
That's great. I can't wait for your memoir. That
Yes.
should be really something. That's, you're the only person to whom that question would apply. I'm just it's
Well,
so
one
amazing.
last thing though, I just heard from the publicist of my soap sister, Susan Lucci, who has a memoir coming out this summer. So I'm very excited. I'm hoping to interview her.
You've got to go on tour together. You have to get the band back together. That would be quite hilarious and very meta. Sherry Thomas, the next question is for you. Tell us about one special thing in your office or on your desk and why it's there.
Um, gosh, actually, the rest of it is on the floor, but this is a little cover for the heating pad my mom just gave me, the electric heating pad. So I love a seat warmer, so I've been sitting on it. Like ever since I started using it, I was like, where has it been all my life? So now I don't need the heater on. I just sit on this warm little pad all winter long.
That's how cats do it, isn't it? I mean, that's why they're cozy and comfortable, and dogs do that too. It seems like your mom knew what she was doing, no question.
My mom knows what she's doing. She has a ton of them.
Ian Smith, what was your favorite book as a child?
Um, A Separate Piece by Jonathan Knowles.
Oh, how old were you when you read that? Do you remember?
I was probably around 13 or 14. I was a young teenager. But I love that book. I read it almost every year. It's just a timeless book.
And what does it mean to you?
I think that because it's a coming of age story, and I just felt like as a kid, even though I was very different from the characters and where they lived and how I grew up, but I could see myself in one of the characters, and it just resonated with me, and it still does. I just think it's a beautiful story and
And look at,
tragic,
yeah,
beautiful and tragic.
I think those,
Can I
sure.
I actually read that book when I started to write Watch Us Fall, and there was a tone to it that just kind of stayed with me when I was writing. It's weird that you said that. It happened to be on my bookshelf. I happened to pick it up. I happened to read it because it was short, and I just needed something light to carry with me. And yeah, that's a great book, and it actually kind of influenced tone. That's so weird that you said that.
I
I
saw
like
your
that.
face change, Christina, when he mentioned the book, and I thought something is going on there. So interesting how books just can bring us together in the most unpredictable of ways. Really quite amazing. It's getting some love in the Craig Kennedy says, "I've forgotten all about Finney."
That's right. That's
But she
right.
says, "I love A Separate Piece." Yeah, you have fans. You totally have fans. Christina, thinking about that book, thinking about the title of your latest book, did that title ever change?
Yes, I forgot. It took so long. My agent hated my first title of Watch Us Fall. Do you mean this one?
Yes.
Yes, he hated the first one, the first title. And so I was like, oh darn, I'm so bad at titles. Now I have to go think about a title. And it took me a really long time. And and then I was just waking up one morning and I was like, Watch Us Fall. It was just Watch Us Fall. It's like for weeks I was like, oh my God, I don't have a title. I'm never gonna have a title. You know how we get.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like we're stuck on this one thing and we think, oh, there's not an answer if I don't have an answer right away. And then I just woke up and it was so specific to me. It was, you know, watch because these are groups of people who are watched. They were in kind of the limelight. Us kind of felt like it was about groups, but it also kind of felt like the United States was like a little bit falling apart at the time. I was thinking about during COVID, and it felt things were very fractured, and there's just a falling action, and it just struck me.
When it works, it works. What was the one that didn't work?
Um, O Street Lost, and it was a play on um, uh, um, the famous poem about
The Walt Whitman poem.
yeah, about Lucifer. Oh my God, I cannot believe my brain right now. It was just a play on something, and my
Oh,
agent,
you mean like Paradise Lost?
yes,
Okay.
and my agent was like, "Girl, you're writing a commercial fiction novel. Just stop."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay,
Oh, well, okay. But you were being lofty at the moment and it was thematic. And so
I don't know
gotcha.
what I was doing."
Talking about special, now we also want to know what you all are reading. We always ask our authors to recommend one of the books that they've read recently that they absolutely love and they would like to share because, again, our goal is to get your to be read piles to go up and up and up. So, again, in the order I see you on the screen, Christina Kovac, what book are you recommending?
So this was my favorite book of the last quarter of the year. I think I saw Claire Lamb post on Facebook. She loved it too. This is a crime novel that's really about families. Lou Berney writes just beautifully. It's musical. Just his language is musical. I mean, it's a hard hitting, kind of novel. It's crime, obviously, and there's a little bit of violence. And these people are doing just crazy things. But when I read it, I just needed beauty. I just needed something soft. I was coming up on my pub day, and I was like, God, I just need a Lou Berney novel. And my friend said, you know what? He has a book out. So it's wonderful.
He is lovely. He is a genius writer and such a lovely person as well. Really, really a good guy.
Yeah.
Deborah Royce, what are you recommending?
Well, I went with, oh, look, I wore orange too. Welcome to Murder Week by Karen Duquesne. I'm very fond of Karen personally, and this is kind of, I would call it a meta look at a cozy mystery, a woman in Buffalo, New York, who has kind of a nondescript job. Her mother dies. She has had a very poor relationship with this mother who really hasn't been around and has been off living the good life. And she finds that she inherits from her mother a trip to a cozy village in England, and that she was meant to have taken this trip together with her mother, which she's sort of gobsmacked by that, because they really weren't close. So she goes off to this village. She decides to take the trip, and it plays out on two levels. What happens in the village, it's a game. Uh, Everybody who comes in on this trip is there to solve an imaginary murder mystery. So there really isn't one. And many of the villagers are in on it and are playing characters, but you don't really know who's who. So she's trying to solve the crime, but she's also trying to solve why on earth her mother would have wanted to do this with her before she died. And it's loads of fun, and I really loved it.
It's really an innovative story idea, really engaging and so funny. And I loved that some of the people in the town are playing in the game and some of them are not. And part of the game is to figure out who's in the game and who isn't in the game.
Exactly.
Genius, genius. She's great. I agree
Yeah.
with you. She's great. She's great too. That's a good, good recommendation. I love this. Sherry Thomas, what are you recommending?
I am recommending, oh, I can't see it.
Good.
The River Has Roots by Amal Al-Mokhtar. And Amal co-wrote the fantastic novella This Is How You Lose the Time War, which is like, I think, one of the most interesting works to come out of um, speculative fiction in a while. For folks who haven't read it, um, it's about two spies who write to each other across time as they foil each other's plans in this intergalactic time war. And it was, it blew me away so much. So like this is the next thing she has out, and I have to read it. So this is not intergalactic time war. It is more a sort of a combination of fantasy and fairy tale. And it has this beautiful, intricate world building. It has this river that flows through this landscape, the river that actually grows grammar on its banks. And which is, I think, like kind of not just grammar, but rules of the world. And so there's fairies, and there are, people who take care of these willow trees that sprout grammar on the banks of the river. And it's a love story, and it's a story between two sisters. So I just love how intricate and beautiful the world building is. I love her prose, and I love the way she looks at the world and the way she tells the story.
It's so interesting how it also is such an entree into someone's imagination. Where does that even come from that you could think about that? It's just
I know,
so,
right?
inspirational and impressive. Yes, thank you for that. Getting a lot of applause in the chat. Ian, finally, what book are you recommending?
So I'm recommending Standing at the Scratch Line by Guy Johnson. What's interesting, for those who don't know, is Guy Johnson is the son, or was the son of Maya Angelou. And so people don't realize that her son was also a great writer. And when I was getting ready to graduate from medical school, I was working in the newsroom in Chicago, and the lead anchor of the newsroom of NBC in Chicago said, I'm going to give you this book for graduation. This book is about a young Black man who is in the early 1900s, who is in a fierce feud with a rival family. And during a raid, he accidentally kills two white deputies, and he is forced to flee his home. Even though it was an accident, he's forced to flee his home to try to survive. So he leaves everything that he's known in his life, and he ends up over in France in World War I in a segregated battalion. And through the war, he learns about racism and bigotry and separation. But then he comes back home, and he is dealing with issues of identity. America was in turmoil. So it's an epic saga, a coming of age saga for this young Black man who is, and by the way, his nickname was King, who's trying to become, a man in a very tough world. So that's a great book. I also want to do a quick plug. This is probably my favorite series. Henning Mankell, who is the Swedish writer who no longer is with us. But he writes, in my opinion, the most beautiful, most perfect police procedural books there are. And a friend of mine who's from Sweden recommended him, and I read the entire series, and I was absolutely devastated that he died so early. He only has maybe 10 or 12 of these, and so I'm going back to read them. So Henning Mankell, by the way, he's the creator. You may know him from TV. The character's name is Wallander.
Sure.
Kurt Wallander. So anyway, those are my two recommendations.
I love that both of those books were gifts to you. I think that is so marvelous. And that's exactly what Karen and I are doing here at the back room as well. You all get to give the gifts to our viewers of books that you love. And it's just clear how life-changing that can be. So we're really grateful to all of you for that. And now, wasn't that fun? We hope you enjoyed that taste of what a backroom session is like. But more fun comes immediately afterward. That's when the audience is broken up into 4 breakout rooms, and each author in turn visits each room. We'd love to show you what a breakout session is like, because those relaxed face-to-face conversations between best-selling authors and readers are the hallmark of backroom events. But breakout sessions are never recorded, because what's said in the back room stays in the back room.